Hello, everyone. Today I'm with the amazing Lena Robinson, and she's one of the most unconformist people I know. And she's so inspiring, full of energy. She has so many interesting stories, and she has founded a business called FTSQ. She will tell you a bit later what it's about. So if you have little ones around, put some headphones while listening to this video. There might be some adult language. So welcome, Lena. Woohoo!
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very excited to be talking to you today. So yeah, really looking forward to today.
I'm so excited too. I find you so inspirational, so I'm so glad to have you managed to catch you on my podcast interviews. So tell me more. Tell everybody, where are you from, and about your company. Why is it called FTSQ, what it means, and why you decided to start this company?
Sure. So I'm from New Zealand, so you'll have to get used to the Kiwi accent and probably some of my Kiwi-isms. I've lived in London for 17 years, so I've been here quite a long time. So pretty much a Londoner now, and I do love this country and the city of London. But yeah, Kiwi through and through. I've FTSQ, and this is why the language thing, stands for fuck the status quo. Yeah, just let that sort of sink in for a minute. And the reason for it is I, by nature, am a maverick and have always been a bit of a maverick, but I'm also a caring person. And throughout my career, although I am a non-conformist, I've had corporate careers, but I was also, and this is something that we've already talked about previously in private conversations, is I was born to a mixed race mother who is Maori and Scottish, who also happens to be a Jehovah's Witness. But my father is a white, originally dope smoking hippie that did landscaping and was very non-conformist and always had artists and creatives and people that were musicians, because he's a musician himself. And so I came from this very diverse, very different two people who still are together, by the way, and very much still in love. And mum's still a Jehovah's Witness and dad doesn't smoke dope anymore, but he's still a very creative, personality. And, having that very diverse upbringing, where constantly having very unusual type of people coming through my life, I have categorically been brought up very non-conformist. And as a result of that, although I ended up in jobs where I was often in very corporate environments, because I ended up doing work where I was in an office, and we'll probably end up talking a little bit about that later. I was always the maverick in those situations, and I did go on to have a very, very, in London, a very, very successful corporate career in one of several of the biggest advertising agency groups in the world at a very senior level, as a new business director, both in the UK and at a global level. But I was always feeling like I was kind of out of sorts because I was the non-conformist, and quite often in trouble as well, because I was the maverick and always bucking the system and always getting told off for doing things that I shouldn't be doing. But they let me get away with it because I was making them shitloads of money. So I was kind of always in that spot. But because I'm the personality type that I am, and I'm bolshy and I'm a Kiwi and I will say what I need to say, I was okay because I am that strong-minded, stand up for myself, won't back down kind of personality. I was the kind of maverick and non-conformist that could get away with it. But all throughout my career, and also at school as well, I would notice the non-conformists, the quieter ones, that would, by their teachers, by their friends, by their parents, by their bosses, and by their professors and that kind of thing, they would kind of be told that in order to succeed, they needed to conform. And I kind of say, fuck that. No. And it made me really sad, because I would often see really amazing people have their potential squashed into a box and not really become the people that I thought they really had the potential to be. These non-conformists that were truly brilliant never turn into what I knew that they were potentially able to become. Now, some of those I was able to save. I would take them in under my wing and protect them. I couldn't protect everybody. And I've had several businesses where I've been able to take some of those people in. This is my third, FTSQ is my third business, and I've been able to take them in. Obviously, I can't save everybody, but the reason I've set up FTSQ, yes, I've got to make money. It's a business consultancy set up to support non-conformist business owners, to enable them to have the support from somebody that knows how to run a business, to run it successfully, but to enable them to do it with somebody that understands the squiggly-brained person in a better way and support them in a different way than somebody, say, from a more traditional way of doing things, so a consultancy like a PwC or a Deloitte or that kind of mindset. I wanted to not just create a business, which I do have to do because I've got to make money, let's be honest, but I wanted to, first of all, create a community. I wanted to create a community first from FTSQ, which is about providing a safe space for non-conformists to be themselves, where they weren't judged, where they were enabled to feel like they could be themselves, where that person that's always felt like they've been a square peg in a round hole could kind of go, oh, I can be myself, and I can be weird and a bit odd and a bit quirky and a bit not normal, and be the nonconformist amongst other nonconformists that weren't judging them, but also felt like they were accepted and that they were amongst people that could also offer support and guidance and help and knowledge in a way that they could understand and get. And that's kind of why I've set up FTSQ. It's hopefully going to be my last business, the one that is going to be the one that, it's my heart. It's where I think it's kind of where I've always been heading, but didn't know it. Because I feel like I've landed where I need to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you said some very good points. As a therapist, I have seen how many times things I've done also myself without realizing, trying to conform in the past because you think that people are going to accept you, because it's in our nature to fit in, no? But the powerful thing is that you're teaching people that they can be themselves. So non-conformists being their authentic self and yet still be accepted by a community of people who break the rules, the one that don't serve us, that don't make sense, and just live their life fully, because we can't be living our call if we are trying to live the life that we think our parents, our spouse, our society might want us to think. And I've tried to live that life. And when I broke and I woke up from that life, I was like, I don't want this life. I've been trying to live the life that I was supposed to live. And it was all in my head, because then when for example, my marriage broke down, nobody cared. It's like, oh, actually, my friends were still my friends. My family still loved me. I was like, okay. So, and it's very powerful that you mentor and you teach people to be okay in being non-conformist, and yet they still be accepted, which is very powerful.
It's really interesting you say that, because I like you, tried to conform. I was a Jehovah's Witness myself, and my parents gave me the choices, by the way. I was never forced to go one way or the other, because my dad isn't one and my mum is. My upbringing was I always had the choice. And I chose until my 20s early mid-20s to be one. And I still respect that of my mum, and I'm not disrespecting mum and what have you, and what she believes. She believes what she believes. And they're nice, decent people. They're honourable people, and I'm okay with that. I just couldn't squash myself in. So I, at 19, got married, trying to do the right thing. I couldn't live that life. It's too restrictive for me. I'm too big a personality. I don't fit all the things that they want me to do. There's many things I still like about them. Their honourable, decent way of life and living and being good human beings, great. And I'm okay with that. And my brothers are still part of it. My mum's still part of it. A lot of my family is. I'm okay with that. But I threw a grenade in, and I've done this a few times in my life actually. I threw a grenade into my life where I made a choice at one point in my life where my marriage ended after only a couple of years. And that was one of the grenades where I literally turned my back on everybody, and part of the ending of it was I had to make a choice of ending it and never speaking to any of the friends in that religion ever again overnight. That was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. As a early 20-something year old, that is not an easy choice to make, but I knew if I didn't, that I was going to break into 1,000 pieces. Much like yourself, that if you squish yourself into that box too much, you're going to break anyway. So I thought, I've got to make this choice for myself. So that is a pretty harsh decision to have to make. It was not easy, and sometimes you're going to have to make those choices in your life, like what is the best thing for you. It was, and if anybody thinks that, oh, that's a really brave thing to do, yeah, it was brave. For anybody to think I wasn't scared shitless, I've never been so scared in my life. So don't think that fear wasn't there. It was. And I've had to make those other decisions other times during my life. You know, I tried to conform to the corporate job life. It eventually got me to the point where I was like, this is soul destroying. I've tried to fit in with filling in the timesheets, turning up at 9 o'clock. Oh, fuck. Could have given it
incorporate. Talk incorporate, because there is a style of how to talk and a way to dress. And
I mean, I never did anyway. I was always getting told off for you know, I wasn't ever filling in my timesheets. I was like, why do I need to fill in timesheets? It's a waste of time. Anyway, I was always in trouble for something, but I always got away with it, like I said, because I was making them shitloads of money. So yeah, I mean, I was always in trouble, but I always kind of got away with it because there was a checks and balances. There was a balance to it because I was earning them a lot of money, so they kind of would turn a blind eye to it because I was the maverick. But a lot of the time, I then eventually turned the maverickness into a place of power, which is why I talk at the moment. I'm giving a lot of talks about don't conform to the norm. There was power in your difference, and I talk about people, which is what you were talking about before, about it's okay to be different. And I'm actually saying, don't just be okay with it, turn it into a place of power. If you look at people like, you know, for some of the young ones, I might be quoting some old people here, but, you know, if you look at people like Madonna, she turned her difference and constantly turned her difference into a place of power. If you look at people like Jeff Goldblum, you know, his quirkiness, he has turned categorically into roles that constantly make him quirky. You know, like when he's in Thor Ragnarok, his quirkiness is his perfect place of power. You know, you look at Taika Waititi, who has just done Jojo Rabbit, and he did Thor Ragnarok. You know, you see the movies that he's doing, he has turned his place of difference into a power play. You know, you see all these different people who are, yes, if you see him interviewed, he's nuts. I love him. He's great. But you see all these different people. You go back in history and you look at the people that have changed the world. They took their quirkiness and their weirdness. Albert Einstein. You take even people like